There was something I neglected to mention in my intro video, and I think it's important for understanding that interface between the time plane and the space plane. And I had spoken earlier about why or how we were going to come back to the sun, because the sun kind of forms the base reality of the time plane through these hash marks, as we understand it, at least as humans understand the time plane. And this is our best approximation of this, because the sun is what allows us to live. It makes the plants grow. It coordinates the seasons and such. And so I have a little handheld textbook here from the 80s or maybe even the 70s. It's on astronomy, and it actually has a little section on how the zodiac works, and I thought it was rather nice, so I'll read a quick excerpt from it. This will again help you understand why and how humans are the interface between the space plane and the material plane, and why the best approximation for understanding the time plane that we've constructed is around the base reality of a sun forming the hash marks of the clock. So, the zodiac is a belt of 12 constellations: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. These star groups, right? These constellations circle the sky close to the ecliptic, which is the great circle of the Earth's orbit around the sun. So if you want to imagine the sun here in the center, and this little inner wheel here is the Earth going around the sun. That's the ecliptic. Now the sun, moon, and planets look as though they move against the background of these constellations and seem to be, quote unquote, in them. The journey of the planets take longer. Well, easiest to observe is the moon's path. The journeys of the planets take longer depending on their distance from the sun. That's true. Pluto can spend up to a full decade in one of these signs. Pluto is that slow. The sun itself seems to move through the zodiac constellations each year along the line called the ecliptic. Remember, the ecliptic is, kind of said, it's like this little circle of the Earth going around the sun. The sun's right here in the middle, the source of life. The change of constellations seen just before sunrise or after sunset confirms this movement. I'll read that again. The sun itself seems to move through the zodiac constellations, the hash marks we talked about, each year along the line called the ecliptic. See, we've said this is the ecliptic here, this little circle. See how it's in concert with this wider circle that the sun seems to be moving through. The change of constellations seen just before sunrise or after sunset confirms this movement. Note, in the diagram, the Earth circling the sun. There's a picture of the Earth. There's the sun, and there's a picture of the Earth circling the sun. From the Earth, the sun seems to be in the constellation Libra. And there's an arrow. There's a picture of the Earth here, and the picture of the sun here. There's Libra, and there's a straight arrow pointing there. As the Earth revolves, the sun will seem to move through Scorpio and Sagittarius, etc., etc., as it moves along until it's back in Libra again. Babylonians and other ancient astronomers recognized this apparent motion of the sun, moon, and planets. Apparent. Remember, we're talking about and interface, this knowledge helped them predict the seasons. And if you've read my Patchwork Manifesto, you know I understand astrology as an agrarian calendar that, while practical in nature, has a moral prescriptive base for organizing society, and there's a lot of sociological implications of that. And if you're interested in sociological or socio-political trends, go get that Patchwork Manifesto. It's free, and read it. I'll put a link in the video description. Yep, very important little note there. Help you understand gives it a little bit more astronomical or physical, scientific basis for understanding this more ethereal aspect of astrology. All right.